This is Zim, and you're listening to the Helpful Photographer Podcast in collaboration with New York City Photo Safari. To register for a safari, please visit nycphotosafari.com. Image stabilization is the system located within your camera or your lens that acts as a gyroscope that helps keep your camera from shaking. Nikon refers to this as vibration reduction, while Sony calls it steady shot, and Canon and Fuji, they call it image stabilization. Since I'm a Canon shooter, I tend to refer to it as image stabilization. The purpose of image stabilization is to counteract your hand motion and therefore allows you to hold the camera still at increasingly slower shutter speeds. Over the past couple of decades, these systems have improved dramatically, allowing photographers to shoot from 1 and up to 3 stops slower than without it. The problem with image stabilization is that it's constantly looking for motion, so if you're using a tripod or putting your camera on a hard surface, you may want to turn the system off. And although most cameras are supposed to know that you're not moving and is supposed to turn the system off automatically, not all of them are successful at doing so. If you find that your photos taken on a tripod look blurry, image stabilization is often the cause. Another problem has been video. Whether or not you're on a tripod, you may find very often that when you're shooting video, there's a strange vibration in the image if you leave the image stabilization on. This is especially true if you're panning. Again, this is because the camera is vibrating, and you can't see that vibration if your end product is a still photo, but when it's a video, the video is capturing that vibration. Having said this, most modern systems are supposed to have overcome this problem, so you'll want to run a couple of tests before you take my word for it. Another thing you'll want to pay attention to is Mode 1 and Mode 2. Very often, especially on long lenses, you will not only find an on and off switch for image stabilization, but also a Mode 1 and Mode 2 switch. Usually, Mode 1 is for photographing static objects, so things that are standing still, like a building, while Mode 2 is for panning sideways or up and down. For instance, if you're tracking an athlete back and forth across the field, or if you're tracking a bird across the sky, this is when you would use Mode 2. The stabilization system will operate differently under these circumstances. To figure out what's best for you, again, just do a test. Do a panning shot of a car passing by in Mode 1, and then do it again in Mode 2, and see what happens. And that's it. I hope that was helpful. Until next time, keep on shooting.